Hey my Shuga Bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, OGJackeeNicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo?
Hey, what's up, my Shuga Bears? We are back. So listen, I wanted to do a video today to talk about like my first love. My first love has always been like history, government, and politics. So you're gonna get a lot of videos where I just will cover different topics and things that I want to talk about, basically. The social media and trending topics and the gossip stuff, that's easy stuff. I think that's just something that we're consumed by on a daily basis if you're on social media. So that's easy to talk about. But my other and my really true passion is most definitely the politics and history and stuff like that. So like that's why for like doing pieces like Gloria Richardson, love shit like that. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I want people here on my channel that is their cup of tea. I also, in the brief intro to my videos, will give y'all some of me, keep you updated with things that are going on. I think more or less, I feel like I'm dealing more or less with like haters and people in my life right now that just don't agree, that just don't agree. And I just think sometimes you got to tell people like, I'm not living for you to agree. And I'm just at that crazy place in my life where I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm disappointing you. I'm sorry, I'm not living up to your expectations. But what I do know, for the last 6+ years, and I want you to make sure I'm heavy on the 7+ years, I have had a mic in front of my face, and I have been doing and talking like this for that long. I even go back and I make sure on my Facebook, I show videos. I'm consistent about who I am, right? Even if I go back to high school, I wrote in my high school newspaper. I wrote political articles and stuff like that. So like, I'm not new to this. I'm not new to attention. I'm not new to being some people's not being some people's favorite. Like I'm used to that. Like, or people not agreeing with my opinions, that is fine because I can hold myself down. I can hold it down on my own. Like if I can be in a room with 10,000 people, if I believe what I believe and I can walk it out and I can prove what the fuck I'm talking about, oh, I'm standing on it. And it just is what it is. So I think it's really hard sometimes with being Black and sometimes our community, when you try to hold people accountable, you are going to be labeled certain things, or people are going to try to put certain things on you for your personality. Oh, she's on the mic, she's doing this to get back at people. I was doing this before them, right? And so I think when people really keep it real with themselves, there is nothing about like what I do in terms of getting on this mic, talk my shit like everybody fucking else in the world. There's nothing new to that, right? Nothing new, or nothing happened that made me this way. I was literally this way when people met me. I literally was doing this while we were like around each other. So it's just really weird when people try to spin a narrative about who you are as a person, when you're just like, I don't even think you know me as a person. Like, you've been around me. I've had people who've been around me for a year. And one of the things that me and my sister, like, we had this conversation about friends and meeting new friends and being around people. And she just, was pointing out some things that I was okay with putting myself around in terms of people and mindset and stuff like that. And I was listening to Kwame, and this morning he was like, and I'm not saying this morning because I don't know when this video was recorded, because I think it was one of self-talk videos. Y'all know how they do. Shout out to them for like linking up and being really solid and being not that toxic link up that happens on YouTube. And we need to see more of that, right? Because I think that's the reason why I don't reach out to people. I see so much toxic and doxing and such this like weird ass behavior between YouTube people that I'm just like, I don't want to say anybody's name. I'm not going to say anybody's name unless it's somebody like a Kwame or someone like a self-talk, or it's people who just seem like they're really focus on them, and it's not about other YouTube people. Like, why are we talking about each other on this thing, right? You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of weird to me. And why I make it about us. To me, it's like we're all coworkers, right? We're invested at the end of the day. I hope to be monetized in this, so we're invested in YouTube and its growth and people coming on here and enjoying us give them the real shit. So when I see people just invest their whole platforms to going back and forth with people they've never met or people who don't have any real effect on their lives, it's that crab in a barrel mentality, and it shows up in everything that we do. Yes, I'm talking to my people. I'm talking black, and I don't care if you don't like the way I talk, it may not be real enough for you. May not be enough heart for you, but it is what it is because it's real ass shit, right? Because if you feel some sort of way, I'm saying some real ass shit. But every time that we are together, or we have times that we come together outside of our like family and friends union, it's this toxic atmosphere that we tend to create everywhere we go. If it's not work, if it's not just work or going out, how we click up in clubs and click up in general, it's just that toxic atmosphere that comes with it. And it's just sad to see that we see it played out on platforms like Clubhouse. We see it played out on YouTube. We see it play out on Facebook. We see it play out all the time, right? We can't get together sometime and just mutually support each other. I've had my own personal experiences in being involved in situations where, I did online radio, doing podcasts and trying to come together and build something where Black people has to be the hardest thing in the world. Hardest thing in the world, right? Everyone's looking at what everyone, and I'm not saying everyone because I'm not a crab ass nigga, right? But people looking at what you doing, keeping up with what you do and trying to copy what you do, and then try to, be mad at you for you being, I guess their inspiration, right? And that's the weird thing, right? When you're doing something and you're creative and you're more creative than other people, there are people who are going to be around you that hate that about you. And there are people who I've had bum ass bitches. I've had bum ass bitches, and we're gonna give it a name. Like when I say bum ass bitches, I'm gonna give it a name. I've had bum ass bitches. What name seems like the most appropriate? Bum ass bitches, like let's say Tasha. Let's call her Tasha. I've had bum ass Tasha like bitches around me that who just hate. Will sit back and look at everything that you got going on, want that for themselves. So when somebody wants, and when we're talking about crabs, when they want what you have or want what they seem to, they're envious of you, they're going to try to tear you down, pull you back. So I always tell people, stay away from them Tarsha crabs. You know what I mean? Tarsha, and it's Tarsha. Tarsha crabs. You got to stay away from them Tarsha crabs. Period, poo. That's what we calling them, Tarsha crabs. Yeah, you got to stay away from them type of folks in life. But yeah, I say that to say, because when I was listening to Kwame this morning, he was talking about how there are a group of Black people, right? Black people who can really get involved and help and change things and be an asset within the community. But you know what stops them? What stops them is that behavior that we see on YouTube. What stops them is my experience, right? That I had with people from the hood, like niggas. Okay, that's what stops people from wanting to be a resource to other people, right? And I'm never going to tell people once they've had really bad experiences to, put people, you still got to do for your community. You still got to put Black first. I'm never going to tell you to put anything that don't protect you, not about you, for you, or encourage and lift you. Am I going to tell you to put that before yourself? I'm never going to do that. I don't care how pro-Black I am, and I am extremely pro-Black. I'm never going to tell you to be in situations. Life is short. These motherfuckers will bury you in the ground and don't give a fuck about what they do to you. So with that being said, if you have had a bad experiences and it keeps you from, being involved with Black people on a daily basis, like, I'm sorry, niggas from the hood, and getting involved in things that, that you think that may help, find alternative ways to do it. And I think, as I move forward in my life, I'll never be in situations where I'm around that ilk of people again. I don't care how that sounds. OGJackeeNicole and her life and being happy is more important than being your version of pro-Black, right? So I don't care how that sounds. Going forward, I'll never be around that ilk again. And it's not you're stigmatizing, or you're trying to talk uppity as if though you're better. That's not what I'm talking about. I think some of the most brilliant people have come from the projects, have come from the hoods. Like, the most brilliant. And I've said this on a consistent basis, but when people are trying to paint a picture of you and they know they have personal problems with you, they're going to try to look for any little thing you say to be like, oh, you see, how can you see how she talks? No. How I talk after the fact is not to be questioned, my nigga, to be completely honest with you. And that's just literally how I feel. How was I talking before? How did I treat you before? Was I nice and kind and all the other stuff? Or did I have an experience that's left a sour taste in my mouth? So when I say some fly shit, about the projects. No, I'm not talking about every fucking body from the projects, but of course I'm talking to a few people that I want them to catch my drift. If you slow motherfuckers don't get that and think that, oh, she's talking about everyone, okay, you can have that. But that's like to say, if I tune into your channel and you talking about what dark-skinned women or black women is like this, am I to assume that you're talking about all dark-skinned women or black women? Should I immediately say that you are being misogynistic, sexist, and all those other things because you may be talking about your experiences, or you may be talking shit about people because of what your experience is? So you doing your 1-2 in your videos. Is that what I'm supposed to assume? And I also wanted to cover some things that I've been hearing on these YouTube streets and seeing in certain videos and being in Clubhouse, and people talking about, people got to pick a middle of the road on what they want to be. Are they going to be the intellectual, intelligent type, or are they going to be the talk to shit and kind of talk shit, kind of turn up, kind of ratchet side? I'm going to be all of that. I am a Gemini. So I'm going to be really intelligent on some videos, and some videos I'm going to be talking my shit. I'm going to be talking like how I would be talking if I was sitting in the car with bitches and we were talking shit, as y'all can see on my Facebook. So yeah, there is different sides of me, and I'm not afraid of that. Like, I don't care. I'm not ashamed to say I code switch, but not code switch in the sense of like I get around white people and I deny, or I try to play down my blackness. No, I don't think you have to code switch in that way. I have been and grew up in the suburbs. So for me, that's nothing. But to me, what y'all call code switching, I call being professional in the in settings and being aware of where I'm at and being able to adapt. Y'all should be teaching your children that, to be completely honest. I don't know if I told y'all on this channel, but it wasn't until my nephew was like 12 or 13 years old, I had to teach him how to shake a hand and look at somebody in the face when he was outside of the hood, right? Don't lose your voice around these white people. You talk to your friends and you have so much confidence and stuff like that. You have that confidence here too. So I had to teach my nephew that. So don't tell me that, or try to paint code switching as if though that's something wrong. No, these young mans need to know. Look nice, and you never know, you might be in a mall, introduce yourself to a manager or something like that to ask for a job. How are they going to learn those things? It does not come natural, and that's not something they naturally know how to do. So when they're 30 and 40 years old, they don't feel awkward, or they don't feel like, oh, they don't, that thing that happens sometimes with black people around white people where they feel inadequate, or they feel out of place and stuff like that, or they feel like, they're not confident in themselves and speaking. And I'm just talking about just speaking or expressing themselves, right? Because that's a real thing a lot of times when black people don't want to talk about that. That's a real thing for some black people who've never been out the hood, or never really had any relationships with people out the hood, or never been spent a lot of time in environments that aren't hood or with hood people, right? So they're not the most confident people when you get them away from the hood, right? So that's something you have to teach. So yes, you should be teaching your child how to code switch. And no, we shouldn't be as a community looking down on it, because what the hell? I think, to say that is to say, I think that's why there's some miscommunication. It's a miss between older people like Monique. I'm not old. I'm in my 30s, right? Or even me in the younger generation, not understanding what we're talking about when we're talking about bonnets and presenting yourself, right? So I think I was in a room the other day and a woman was talking about, oh, I just don't understand why people are bothered by that. It's nobody's business, just do you. Oh, I ran to the store and but nobody's talking about that, right? In a bigger conversation of just like, when we're in Clubhouse, we're having big conversations. We're not having individualistic conversations where you're telling us your one-off experiences and centering yourself when we're talking about big issues, right? To be able to speak about specific or talk about issues, you need to also look at your experience, right? And say, whoa, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of my girlfriends and they having a completely different other experience. I should probably adjust my tune, right? To be in line to what the ratio here and what the percentage is saying even with my friend circle and people I know. Right. So when I see women unable to do that and they get in rooms and they're always talking about my sons and, the men in their family. Okay. So look around. Right? You're in a clubhouse and you have all these women around you. You even have people in your life that that aren't related to you that are having their own experience, and you're still coming up to the same conclusion. No, 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 no. What you're on stage for is for attention. What you're on stage for is centering, right? What you're on stage for is to get clout and get followers, right? So, it's really important. That's why I don't really get up on stages anymore. Like, I literally have to like somebody and they seem cool and they are the moderator, because I'm not conversing with people who I think just read particular certain types of books, who aren't educating themselves in other aspects, right? To have a more diverse and open opinion about things, right? And so that's why sometimes the conversations in a lot of the reparations room and a lot of the kind of pro-Black agendas, or even really, they're so narrow. They're so narrow. And so sometimes that's a lot of energy for me, right? Because I'm going to be the oddball, right? Because I am going to come up there, and when we're talking about the Declaration of Independence and different things like that, and we're talking about the Free Forbes and slave and language and stuff, I am going to come up there and be like, hey, do you guys remember like Greek society, and talking about like imprisonment, enslavement, and what that looked like through over hundreds of years, and how that has changed, right? But I'm getting off topic, but basically I'm going to have more information to pull from because I diversify like what I look into and what I research and stuff like that. And so sometimes it's a lot of energy for me to be on stage, because it is bare. It's a bare basic ass conversation. And so, if I staying in the audience and sharpening on my skills that way, maybe I hear something that piques my interest, but a lot of times it's not. And that's just that. And that's why I don't go on certain type of stages, or that's why I did not link with certain people when it comes to things like Clubhouse, only because what you allow yourself to be involved in, it really is a sign of a lot of things. So when I see women my age and older, partaking in daily drama, right? I have to wonder, what the fuck is that about? Only drama I'm partaking in on a daily basis is my own. Let's be completely clear. Is my fucking own, right? Or I'm talking about getting involved on a daily basis. Now, sitting back and watching niggas be a reality show, or Clubhouse or Facebook, that's nothing. I'm talking about actively getting involved. So when I see grown ass women my age and older participating in it, that is not going to make me want to get involved. Like, that's not going to make me want to associate. That's not going to make me want to, it's just not. It's not going to motivate me to want to network with you. I'd rather try to network with other people who are not doing that. I'm not saying this because I'm not in drama, because if you know me, if you know me, like, my life is drama. Like, it feels like it at times, with people I've been associated with, and not necessarily because I've particularly done anything or anything that you could hear about me. Always know I stand on the fact that I'm responding. I'm responding to either what they're doing, what they're subliminally doing, or the trolling on my social media timelines and shit like that. So I'm not someone who is trying to do hurtful, or I'm not a malicious person. I'm not a jealous person. I'm never sitting around hating on a bitch. Like, that's just not my thing. It's really not. Like, my brother can tell you, any female that I've ever rolled with, and if she ever said that I sit around and hate on a bitch, tell her she's lying. Tell her she's lying. That's not my conversation. Like, I'd rather cheer females on. Like, I'm that girl, if you go out and I see you look dope, I'm gonna tell you look dope, because that don't make me not look dope. You get what I'm saying? I don't have that type of mindset, but I have been around bum ass Tarsha crabs that are just like that, right? Always hating on the next bitch, what she doing, how she's dressing, how she's moving, all that other stuff, right? Just unhappy with themselves, right? These bitches really do exist. And in their head, they'll create a problem and act like you really did something, and all you doing is being your dope ass, beautiful self, and they just mad. Anything that comes your way, oh, why her? She don't deserve that. Anybody but her. Anytime a bitch is talking about anybody but her, that's a hater. That's a hater crab. We call them Tarsha crabs. So that's a hater crab. So you most definitely should ignore that. Anytime I feel like, I think I said it in my last video, anytime you going around talking about, oh, but I'm not like that, or, oh, I'm all of that shit, you're a hater. Because of course you're not like her. She, her, you, her, you. So why would you need to say that? So I just think jealous and envious people, if you're trying to stand out and make yourself look better than somebody, they talk like that. Oh, I'm not like her. I don't do stuff like that. Oh, I'm a different type of woman. Bitch, like what? What? You don't have to do all of that. And when you are doing all of that, it's because you're being a pick me, right? And a lot of women, when they are being pick me's, they are very much like, oh, that's fucked up. Why is she like that? I could never. That's not the type of person I like to be. They do all of that until it's them, right? Until they're mad about something. I'm not even going to say until it's them. I don't give a fuck how the next bitch handle hers. I'm going to handle mine how I want to. Period. Friend, homegirl, and all this stuff. Why are you sitting back trying to tell your homegirl how to handle her fucking business? What that got to do with you? And it be those, oh, it's a bad look. And it just be like, well, you fucking every nigga every night at the club when we go out and they low key calling you a hoe is not a bad look. But the way I'm handling my business about a fuck nigga fucking with me, it's just be like, no, that's you hating. Stay in your lane and do what you do. Period, poo. I don't know how we got there, but I think I was just trying to give you a little bit about like what's going on with me and a little interest. Cause like I said, it's my channel. So I want you guys to be up to date and like the things I'm going through. And I want you to get a real sense of like who I am. It's a lot to say bougie as fuck, you know, to name my channel Bougie AF. And I also need to explain that too. And it doesn't come from a place of, oh, I think I'm better than people. But what I find the bare basic of, expectations and boundaries is so bare sometimes with some people, and sometimes they take the bare minimum. And then when you get around somebody like me, that's like, ooh, your tone ain't right. Ooh, I don't like how you handling me. Ooh, that's not gonna work for me. Who is willing to say those things and advocate for themselves, right? You then end up being called things like bougie. I'm not from the hood. So when I come around, my taste, how I eat and what I drink and all the other stuff is a little different. I don't have to shrink. I don't have to pull away from that or any of that because you think I'm trying to act like I'm better than people. That's crazy. That's crazy. No. And I will tell you guys, like, you know, I think a lot of times, like I told you, I didn't know I was ugly until I got on Clubhouse. And I say that because as a dark-skinned woman, there's a lot of rooms dedicated to us and, you know, how we're being picked over and stuff like that for other women. And it's just like, okay, but it just seems as though I'm not that girl who struggled with her dark skin. I'm not that girl that has that story. It's like, oh, why pick me and da da da. It's more or less like I would do much better if I was more interested in people, in men, black men, and I've only dated black men. And I think that's my problem. I'm trying to get out of that, most definitely. Whereas now I think I am ready to date. It's just hard. Because when going around your own people sometimes and having those boundaries and okay with saying, I don't care how you talk. I don't care how you are with everybody else. Right? What I do know is that I don't let people talk to me. Now, you can continue to handle people however the fuck you want. But I have the right to say, no, you can't handle me like that. Period. And I think that's where I started to hear that, like, you know, oh, she's bougie. She thinks she's all that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, never said that. Never said that. You're just mad because I won't let you do whatever based on people in your life that let you do whatever. I don't know. So I just wanted to, you know, get on here and kind of talk to y'all a little bit. I also wanted to talk about, like I said, I got on here to talk about a little bit of politics. So I wanted to talk about the story I came across with Candace Owens. Now, just to remind you, Candace Owens is somebody that really aggravates the black community. She is a black Republican. I'm going to say she's a conservative. She's a black Republican. And she says a lot of shit that black people don't like, right? They think she's, of course, bougie, stuck up, you know, cooning. They say all these things. I'm not even sure if I can say that word, so I won't say it again. But they think all these things about her. And it's that I actually like Candace. I don't agree with her. And I think that's really important that I put that out there. I don't agree with 98% of the things that Candace Owens has to say. Do I think that makes her a bad person? No. Because there's always opportunity to teach and learn, and maybe she has not been around to see certain things, so she came to certain conclusions without missing pieces, right? So for me, it's like, I remember I even think I did a video about her last year. And I came down really hard, not really hard, but you know how I do, break things down. And I was just I did a video where I broke down some of the things that she was saying. It was, no, I'm sorry. It was more or less about, what's his name? King Face, the gentleman who passed away from HIV and AIDS, allegedly. But it was a more or less, cause she did an interview with him and it was more focused on him. But, I did a video and I have been on Twitter, and I've said some things that I may not disagree with her. I follow her and some other people. I follow Melissa Tate, who I found on her channel, on Candace's channel. Don't agree with all the time, and I will at them. And if I see something that comes across I will, say that's not right, that's not correct, because again, it's maybe not knowing, maybe needing being pointed to the right information. And as we can see, as we have this conversation about CRT, how it's important to have patience with everybody, and I don't care who they are, and what they do for a living, because again, it's not like they've been trying to teach us correct history, right? It's not like they're trying to give out correct information. So sometimes when I think some of the things she says has to do with like not having a lot of life experiences and not being around a lot of Black people, to be completely honest. So when I did look into Candace, she grew up with her grandparents. They raised her in Connecticut. I went and pulled up the town just to get a sense. I'm a townie girl, right? So I just wanted to get the sense of like who in the population of the town where she comes from, and how the town she comes from, to get a sense of the idea of who she is, right? So then she went to Providence University. I think she spoke about, it being a real leftist school. So she had already been a Republican conservative person before she went to college, right? And I know you're saying like, what does that have to do with anything? Again, I want to know, being patient with somebody and maybe some of their thoughts and, some of the conclusions they come to. I just wonder how much experience she has around being around Black people. And the fact that she was raised by older people, I think because how she was raised, that she was always going to have some disconnect with this generation, right? Older people like old things. No, I know you think I'm being funny, but I'm talking about music, how they think is very throwback classic, and that's not a bad thing. But I do think, with being where she's from, I think that's part of the conservativeness. And I'm pretty sure her grandparents were conservative because, believe it or not, before the 1960s, we were a part of the conservative party. Conservative Republican Party. So this is a new phenomenon, not new, but switching over to being Democrat, that's something that happened because of civil rights. So I most definitely believe she may have grown up that way. So like I said, I like her. I think she's someone I could chill with, to be completely honest with, and not be bothered by her, as long as we don't talk, a lot about politics and shit like that, then we would be fine. But if we were talking about the politics and stuff, no, it probably would not be fine, because I'd be like, girl, let's go get some food from the hood, because you are really a bit much. But anyway, all right, so I had this article because she's actually in the news. Oh, wait, she's in the news. Where's it at? From The Root. So Candace Owens says Black America owes her an apology, and she's absolutely right. I can't wait to read it because, again, I haven't read it, so I'm going to read it for the first time with you guys. Like I say, if somebody makes a point, whether or not I like them or agree with them all the time, if you make a point, it's a point. I'm not going to take it from you, right? So here we go. Candace Owens says Black America owes her an apology, and she's absolutely right. This is The Root. This is by Zach Lindley. Okay. Let's see. Zach, are you white or Black? But I'm pretty sure you're white. But that doesn't matter. Depends on what's being said. On Sunday, Bill Mulligan, a correspondent at Republican Disney Plus network, Fox News, tweeted video of what he called the largest group of migrants we've ever seen being held by Border Patrol I don't know where the Enzaldas Bridge in Mission, Texas. For whatever reason, Candace Owens took to the video footage as proof of absurd claims she's made in the past that Democrats were purposely moving to disenfranchise Black voters by opening the borders to illegal immigrants so their votes can make our votes irrelevant. Whenever Black America is ready, I'll accept apologies for the refusal to listen, as I warned for years that if Democrats got control, they would import new voters over the border. They would import new voters over the border, making the Black vote irrelevant. Trump's wall was never racist. It's just disrupted their evil plan. She told no lies. She told no lies. I've been saying it myself. She told no lies. Oh, Siri, calm down. Okay, y'all, I thought there was some sound, but there is no sound. So basically, what we're watching here, let me make it a little bigger on the screen for y'all. Okay, basically, what we're watching here are people just crossing our borders. Basically, this is the largest group of migrant we've ever seen being held by the border patrol under the bridge in Mission, Texas. Look like it could be up to 1,000 people. So these are people trying to get into the country, and this is where Joe Biden in um, Kamala Harris has to be real clear. You will not ignore us, right? Because we're not stupid. You can give us Juneteenth. You can. What else did you guys? This eviction memorandum that you guys did. That's not just for Black people. That's for Americans, right? So Americans, like meaning the even the illegal people that you let in the country, are having a problem with paying their rent. I do want to shout out Cori Bush from the state. I think she represents Florida, and I will double check. She did a great job of really protesting and being outside of the Capitol, and really, because it was supposed to end, right? The eviction memorandum, but more. Hope I'm saying it right. Where people aren't going to be kicked out from not being able to pay their rent because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So that was supposed to end. She did a protest for like 2-3 days upon it supposed to be ending, where she slept outside of the Capitol building to protest it. And so then this is where this is where it seemed dramatic, right? And I don't believe it. And this is where Biden's White House comes off as disingenuous, right? So she did this for 3 days, and then they came out with, "Oh, we're able to save it, and nobody will be kicked out." Stop trying to present things that you do for us as if though you're trying to save us. I don't like it. And I don't like certain things having Black faces on it. Yes, I did see video of, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren going to, and standing outside with Cori Bush to, give her support and bring more light to it. But no, pull them all the way the fuck in. Pull them all the way. And I'm talking about the Spanish politicians and all of the other stuff. Pull them all the way in for issues that don't just affect us. Because I'm tired of being the face of welfare type-ish programs when they're not they're just not solely based for the Black Americans of the United States. When it's for us, then all of us should be out there, okay? But when that happens, that will be the case. But right now, when it talks about this eviction more, that's not the case here. And so I don't like it having a Black face. It'd be black face, right? Because it continuously paints that narrative that there is something being done to help us in our situation, and that's not the case. Period. All right, so let's get back to the article. I will tell you, I totally agree with her. And I actually literally just said this the other day when I was talking to my father and my sister, when we were just talking about voting and everything that we're seeing going on, and even let's get to this too. I promise you, let me bring you back to Twitter because maybe I can find my tweet. But there was a tweet that I put out. And when I was like, okay, Nancy, I put a tweet up, and it was to Nancy Pelosi, because she did a press conference, I think last week or maybe even the week before, on CNN. And then she basically at the end of her press conference said, "Oh, we've looked at, oh, you want to talk politics?" I took this shit real personal. She said, "Oh, you want to talk politics? Oh, yeah, we've been able to look at the numbers and see that we did overwhelmingly well in the Spanish community, in the Spanish vote. So moving forward, we're going to concentrate on the younger and the Spanish vote because we seem to have done really well." What did you just fucking say to me? What did you just say to me? See, I'll honor you later in history, right? I'll do a whole video about you. But currently, right now, I'll drag the fuck out of you if you don't say the right things. With no problem. Woman or not. Because that when I tell you, it went over so many people's head. I don't know why people didn't catch on to it like I caught on to it. But baby, y'all got to stop just watching clips and get into the whole situation that be on the news channel, right? And listen to every word. Clips are just deceitful. Right? So she's playing hardball, and at the end of the day, this changing of the guards that's coming up next, it's not going to be pretty, right? It's going to get really ugly coming up. because I'm for replacing whoever is not on talking straight and talking black. You're not talking black to me. I'm here for getting you out of there. Black, white, I don't care what you are. And that was not what I wanted to hear, and you knew it, because now basically what she did is told us, we played y'all voted for us again like dummies, we promised you nothing, we're able to get this new DACA or whatever situation through. You see these numbers, we see the numbers of the votes that came in. Okay. And she's basically saying they're good without us now, so they don't have to placate to us or to promise us anything. Bet. So you either are going to try to allyship with us and continue to work with us and try to, seem as though we're American and you're trying to tend to our needs as much as you are trying to tend to the DACA people or the Asian people, or we're going to be a disruption to you guys in the process. And that's just literally how that's going to go, because we're not blindly just going to vote for you guys going forward. So if you think once the election comes up that you're going to start saying sweet things to us and give us that, what's coming up next is our agenda, and try to act like we're on the agenda. Nah, fuck all that. You have 4 years to prove to us that you are going to do something for us that is going to benefit us. And that's just it. If you do not at the end of these 4 years, it just is what it is. It just is. It's literally up from here. It's literally up from here. It's literally up on Clubhouse. It's literally up in the blogs. It's up. It's just up. It's just up. I don't know. Like I said, if you can't stomach it, then retire. Okay? And I'll do a video for you later. Because at the end of the day, this is not about being into the celebrities to the point where I'm just going to overlook dumb shit that they say. I'm not that girl. I listen. I hear very well. Not that girl. Whenever Black America is ready, I'll accept apology for the refusal to listen, as I warned for years that if Democrats got control, they would import new voters over the border. Facts. Making the black vote irrelevant, Owens tweeted Monday. She tweeted that Monday, and I had that conversation with my dad and my sister last week. Like, we have to understand what we're seeing here. And when they talk about voter restrictions and all that, I'm going to look a little further into it, but I don't even think that probably is something that is going to affect Black Americans as much as I think it's going to affect the Spanish Americans or illegal votes, whatever. That's who that big push to make sure they don't disenfranchise us at the voting, it's not for us. It's really not for us. It's not for Black Americans, because once everything goes back to normal or semi-normal and people are able to go to the polls, I believe these numbers that we just seen in this past year in terms of the presidential, those are what is it called, anomalies or something like that. Those numbers aren't true numbers, right? So you ever, what's that thing where those aren't true numbers, bro. Those are one-off numbers. So where we seen uptakes in certain districts and seeing certain votes come in that really reflected people, but make it seem like people really came out to vote, we really can't think that those are true numbers when it comes to the next vote. We just can't. So I hear you, Nancy. I hear you, girl. But what is going to end up happening is, though, things are going to go back to normal. And people who mailed in their votes are going to now have to be able to go either vote in person. And I believe we're going to get back to what the numbers would really look like. And not to say if that's how if that's how it has to be, then that's how it has to be. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a home run like you think it is going to be. She went on to say Trump's wall was never racist. It's just disrupted their evil plan in praise of the guy who actually tried to disenfranchise Black voters by engaging in baseless stop the steal campaigns aimed at throwing out votes cast in precincts in largely Black areas. Because I don't think that, like I said, I don't think it's about us, even with the voter restrictions. I think it's about the Spanish people having difficulty with being able to vote. Just me personally. Obviously, Owens has made a career out of being an expert in absolutely nothing. And she has clearly done as much research on immigration as she's done on Black hair and edge control. Her argument doesn't make sense, considering she's implying immigrants will vote overwhelmingly Democrat, which Black voters already do. But Owens is never really here to make sense. She's just here to be the world's blackest white nationalist and say all the things that give white people a collective chubby. Okay, so you talking kind of reckless, so I need to now know who the fuck you are. She's still a black woman to me. So let's see who you are. I wonder. Will this take me to? Oh, you know you saved. I am so happy you black. Oh, okay. We good. We can go back now. He can talk his shit. Hey, I'm not gonna tell him he can't talk his shit. He can talk his shit, but he had to be black to be talking his shit, because I promise you, if it was any type of Karen, I would have went in on her, because to me it's protect black women, and if it's black Republican women, then it just is what it is. Like, but yeah. Um okay. But none of this means black people don't owe her an apology. We have neglected that Kanye West of Marjorie Taylor Greene's for far too long, for a sunken place fortnight, which equals years in real time. We have disinvited her to the proverbial cookout, and we have damned her Sambo Leon soul to the hell. There's a lot there. Okay, but none of this means nothing. Let me read that again. But none of this means black people don't owe her an apology. We have neglected the Kanye West of Marjorie Taylor Greene's for far too long, for a sunken place fortnight, which equals years in real time. We have disinvited her to the proverbial cookout, and we have damned her Sambo Leon soul to hell, where it rests comfortably underneath Rush Limbaugh's ample bosom. And since I'm guilty of occasionally, for lack of better words, roasting the F out of her dumb ass, I shall lead the Negro pride lands of these United States in issuing her our collective formal apology. So here it goes. To Candace of the House, to Candace of House, crossed out, Negro Owens, the first of her name, the mother of dragon breath, the protector of the sunken realm, the Ben Carson of people whose eyes open all the way, Jason Whitlock draped, Jason Whitlock draped in diamonds and silk, QAnon for colored girls, queen of tap dancing for white supremacy, is still not getting invited to the RNC. We of the monolithic entity that is Black America do apologize. We now understand that your knowledge of blackness in America rivals only your knowledge of Lee Harvey Oswald military record. When you said Blexit, we legitimately thought you were either talking about some Walmart cereal brand or the process of exorcising the evil Negro spirit from your heavenly Caucasian aura, but we were right. Wrong. Cross out right, wrong. We apologize for every time we thought you were Omarosa because all whitey humping bed wenches look the same to us. Okay, but Omarosa is not humping white men. I'm confused, but okay. We apologize for every time we called you a bootlicker when it's clear you only lick the finest of clannish footwear and neo-Nazi stilettos. We know now that if it ain't a Mayo Gucci, you ain't putting your tongue on the ghetto ass shit. We apologize for not realizing racism in America ended all the way back in the cheat checks note 2007 when you sued the Stanford Board of Education over check notes against racism. For all the times we talk bad about your idiocy, your edges, your guitar pig-shaped head, your unearned smugness, your Uncle Ruckus-like mentality, your secret requited crush on LeBron James, your Trump friendly ass to mouth policy, your wigs that make Tyler Perry say, damn, I wish I thought of that, the Trump bashing website you ran, but completely forgot you ran, your Hitler love, and your Black Karen ways. We all of Unblexited Negro Foundation humbly and wholeheartedly apologize. We are as contrite as you are con white. We sorry. Okay. I don't know what to think about that. Because usually I really love their articles. I mean, I'm going to still use them and like them, but how do you go? Okay, you went from, obviously Owens has made a career out of being an expert in absolutely nothing. And she has clearly done as much research on immigration as she's done on black hair and edge control. Her argument doesn't make sense considering she's implying immigrants will vote overwhelmingly Democrat, which black voters already do. But Owens is never really here to make sense. She's just here to be the world's blackest white nationalist and say all things that give white people collective chubby. So I don't understand how you say that you you're apologizing, but you're also discrediting her of not being an expert and not doing much research. So, I did just literally said what Nancy Pelosi said in terms of what I guess Candace Owens says she foreseen, right? She foreseen that. And Nancy Pelosi literally said it. She literally said it. So I don't know, how do you apologize and insult somebody to this degree in the same apology? That's not to say you can't get back to the roasting, brother. But I don't understand how you do it all in the same article when you're apologizing for someone who was right. She was right. And it's not to say that we all overwhelmingly think that they're going to vote Democrat, but the poor, let's be clear, the poor Spanish people will. Now, the poor Spanish people will vote overwhelmingly Democrat, right? Because they're going to recognize them doing the DACA situation. But who don't vote for them is that middle class and rich Spanish people, which is the Cuban community that's in Florida, and Puerto Rican community, until they got humbled by seeing how Donald Trump treated them during their hurricane. But, they may not vote Democrat, but they are banking on the poor Spanish people. And like Nancy said, because you think that Candace doesn't do any research, she literally said, we looked at the numbers, we did well here. I don't know what else you need, Zach. I don't know what else you need, but I think she got you on this one. And I think she got you on this one. I think she was 100% right then. She's 100% right now. And like I said, I don't always agree with what she says, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I do. Like, I'm just not going to do that. But at the same time, girl called it for what it is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. But before I do, I also just want to do one quick story. I think I'm just going to group it together. These two ladies do not get along, and they have been known to go back and forth with each other on Instagram. And now Candace is always going back and forth on Twitter with people on Twitter. Shout out Allison Felix. Yes, sis. She's been doing this for a little bit. She won. I'm here for it. Shout out the U.S. Olympics. Listen, I wanted to talk about the U.S. Olympics, but I'm really heartbroken about the track team, especially the men's track team in the relay race. I don't even understand how that happens, but Carl Lewis is taking care of that. Called them out. Like, where's the coaching? Y'all seem like this is not it. I don't even like that China's up on the gold, but whatever. All right, so here we go. Was it here that I wanted? It was something I want to say, and the whole reason I'm throwing it in here is because I don't want to do a whole new video because we've already talked about the baby, and I'm not going to drag it out anymore. He has apologized a few times, but I do think that the punishment that the baby is receiving is, I do think that it is, I don't think it's been too harsh, and I know I'm not trying to be mean or nothing like that because I do like the baby. I mean, I really love that Kirk album, but at the same time, that nigga was really out here wilding. That nigga was really out here wilding. And let's be clear, like, historically, we have seen, like, when men and the hip-hop and even the R&B community with money, they usually be on the streets wilding, new money. Niggas to new money. And they just, they stay niggas, right? So, niggas to new money, they're gonna behave, like, he's been out here wilding. Like, in my last video, I talked about he punched a black woman. He overreacts, overly aggressive. The white man in his home, that he allegedly had his people, they put hands on him. Like, there's just been too many incidents. The young man, 19-year-old young boy in Walmart. Yeah, I'm not going to move past that. So there's been so many incidents that I can't say that all these festivals and all these people not wanting to associate with him is wrong, because at some point in time, who is going to sit this nigga down? Right? You are a menace to society. You are saying misinformation. You are putting hands, like, you're causing violence. Like, when is enough is enough? Right? And he didn't have the internal, control to stop himself. So if the forces, meaning the world, have come together to stop him, I don't see nothing wrong with that. And I think, I did say that, I think it's enough, but I think it was like me coming across Azealia Banks tweet when I was just like, she's right. Like, this is a lot. Right. And we, as black women, we're always talking about protect black women. Right. We're always talking about, what's going on in our community in terms of violence. And we have this really rich person who acts like the world is his and he can do whatever. And we're not trying to sit him down. I think it's disingenuous to talk about stop the violence and act like you are for stopping the violence. If you supported him and you are not supporting the fact that the world is sitting his ass down. I'm with it. I got to say I'm with it. All right. So a little comment. The baby really fumbling. I would have been had a remix with Lil Nas out and booked a Red Table Talk by the end of the week. That's an absolutely fact. Like he should have really went to that. But I also think what's happening with the baby is sending a loud. When I tell you a loud signal to everybody, to all the stars, like this will happen, right? So one slip, right, of putting like all that toxic and misogynistic and out here in the streets doing whatever you want because of money, you will be sat down. You will be sat down. And right now, the baby is they're sitting him down. Yeah, let's see. I'm looking for Azealia Banks. Okay, here we go. Listen, we also got to get into the verses. Shout out to my top five. Jadakiss has always been in my top five. Like, y'all. Gemini spirit, but Jadakiss has always been in my top five. Like for real. I'm not going to get distracted, but always. Y'all should have been canceled. So this is Azealia Banks, and she says y'all should have been canceled the baby when he was caught on camera punching a female fan in the face. I'm not believing any of this performative canceling people are doing now when everyone was so quick to forget that happened. Apology or not, keep him canceled. Like when someone just comes and lays it out, like literally, how many passes did you need? And there are the babies in the hood. I know the babies. Facts. I know the babies in the hood on the Facebook threatening women. Yes, I know those type of the babies. Yep. In the street behaving just like this. Always having somebody's dusty ass mammy around. Oh, you don't know what they've been through. Their life has been hard. All types of excuses except holding people accountable, because we've all been through things and life has been hard for a lot of people. Okay? So that's not an excuse, and I think black men are always given that excuse. Oh, niggas gotta eat. Do you know you gotta eat? Out here behaving like that, do you know you gotta eat? That's not up to the next person's responsibility to make sure you're able to eat when you're behaving this way, right? Nothing should, nobody should stop you from being able to make a living, right? Prohibit you from it. But at the end of the day, if niggas stop fucking with you because of your behavior, that's not up to people to make sure that people continue to support you or you continue to make a living. I think some celebrities forget you are in a customer service business, period. Customer service business. You are in a customer service business, and if you don't realize that, you quickly will understand that your customers, aka your fans, they have the right to not support you, period. Y'all know I like the comments. All right, so the neighborhood talk. Shout out the neighborhood talk. Azealia Banks says the baby should have been canceled. Thoughts, facts. The only time you will see me agree with her, and that has 2,144 likes. We got to get into it. Get into it in my Doja Cat voice. Like, get into it. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Okay? I also want to say that, even when people are calling out Megan Thee Stallion, which I did a video, I'm going to redo that video because I don't want to give her no more than 15, 20 minutes. I really don't. But people called Megan Thee Stallion out. But like, okay, so it's don't support the baby, F the baby, and all this other stuff. But you want to come out and talk about protect black women, but you will work with the baby. You'll work with really the toxic and domestic violence. So you'll work with him, right? But now all of a sudden, protect black women. What about you were protecting black women when you work with this man? I just want to be complete, and that's a real honest statement. I know what you're saying that, oh, she doesn't have to, that's business. No. And this is what has angered me and other people. Do not play on the women's movement, talking about protect black women, and don't behave in that way. We will feel used. Most definitely, I feel used. There's a lot of bloggers and people who feel used because she does not protect. She doesn't come out and talk about nothing for nobody except for herself. And how long do you think people were going to sit back and not notice that, Meg? I mean, I noticed it as soon as you let your best friend just, you know what you did. As you just sat there and let her get eat up online. So, no, you're about yourself. All right, so Baddie Z from Hell said she's right. 1,373 likes, right? I know people are like, that's just one comment. No. right? Right now we're up to 2,000 and something there, another 2,000 and something there. So we could say that we're up to about, let's give it up, about 4.5, thousand people. Oh, another, so we're at about 5,000 people, right? So we got about 5,000 people who agree with these three comments. She's right. No limited underscore. And these are women. This is how women feel, right? And so the baby has to understand his probably biggest core of his of his sales and people who consume his music and buy his music. I said buy and consume, right? Is women. And when you forget that, we will come down on you. You'll realize real soon who's your audience. This man literally hit a woman in the face and nobody looked twice. He literally can't keep his hands to himself. But y'all thought the shit was cute. Ain't shit cute about hitting someone. Keep your hands to yourself. Another 1,756 likes. So we were already at about 5,000. So now we're almost close to 7,000 of people who agree with her, right? I can't believe I'm saying this, but she's been right lately. Oh, so we're almost close to 8,000 people right now. Oh, almost close to 9,000. She's right, though. She ain't lying. Come on, y'all. Y'all see the numbers of the likes. Exactly. I've been canceled him, and he always deflects after each incident, never apologetic. Yeah, you really did try to blame the black community and its ignorance. Like, nigga, you tried it. Oh, so you know about it? You know about black people and our ignorance and then where we come from in our communities and stuff like that. And so you still decide to behave like that. And you thought that was going to be your excuse. Fuck you. Well, when she's right, she's right. Okay. She's right, though. This battle is not yours, sweetie. It's the Lord's. Girl, go to sleep. Tired ass. Y'all don't like Messenger, but the message isn't wrong. Okay, y'all don't like the Messenger, but the message isn't wrong. Yes. Sometimes you got to just receive the message. You don't have to like anybody. You don't got to go chill with her. You don't got to go listen to her music or any of that shit. But the message is there. And it's just plain and simple. But if you go listen to her music, you'll like it, though, because I do. I'm actually going to do a music review. Probably do it right after this because I do like Azealia Banks. And it just is what it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I leave, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Like, am I off when it comes to, the stories that we covered? I know how people feel about Candace Owens. I still want to know what you feel in those comments. Like, are you able to receive the message that she's saying? I did lay out what Nancy Pelosi said to kind of back up the fact that I feel the same way. And, sometimes it's about the message, not the messenger. And I think she's delivering you guys a message that we all need to pay attention to. And I know you may not follow it as much as I do, but the girl is right. And I totally just said this, and I've said it on Twitter. I'm not a Trump fan, but, if he ran in 4 years, if the Democratic Party does not do right by us, we're not showing up for you. And I say that with not liking Trump. I would be saying that with him thinking he's the worst thing that happened to this country 4 years ago. You know what I mean? I say that with me saying that, but what I will say that you guys will not go back to being, meaning them clear peoples, y'all will not go back to being comfortable in this country again on us. So however and whoever got to come in that White House to fuck this shit up and disrupt that shit, we with it. We for it. We're going to benefit from it. We're going to make sure we benefit this time around. It's politics. I ain't praying on nothing for y'all. Stop trying to, yeah. Y'all got the right one. We own it. Real ones are on the mic now and talking about this shit. And so, we just got to grow this thing and get it out there because folks ain't talking right. Y'all ain't got the right folks talking. Certain people just, their voices is all of a sudden gone. I'm not hearing their voices anymore. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of showing like, sort of seeming like some sort of like political payola. You know what I mean? Like this is not a game. You don't just get involved in during elections or stuff like that where you're getting the most, most mics and camera time and most attention. No, this is not a game. This is a 365-day, all year long. It's every year. Like, you be involved every year, right? So I don't know. Y'all just be more aware of who you're supporting, and who you're allowing deliver news to you. I'm very much aware. I have not went back to covering some people, like following some people, and I'll be completely honest. The Simone, I forgot the woman who was working for Biden. I don't like the quietness. And if you are at Angela Rye, I'm all set. I'm not going back to following that. Uh, and not to say that I think she's a bad person, and I actually, think she's truly amazing. I love listening to her talk, but I'm talking about following, and that's something completely different. Who else have I, I walked away from Amanda Seals to hypocritical, which is up too much for me. Who else have I not went back to following? But yeah, there's a couple of celebrities who really showed their mammy ass ways. This past elections in general with certain things that I'm just like, I don't think you're the correct voice. I'm not gonna push you forward, and everyone has that right? If you don't like someone's message, just don't push them forward. Not to say that I'm gonna be hating and being, off topic in terms if they're not trending topics, but there's some people I refuse to, shed a light on because I just don't agree with the bullshit that they're saying. All right, y'all. I know I tried to sign off, but I had a few more things to say. Y'all know how we do here. We keep it black as F. We keep it bougie as F. We keep it posh. And y'all be back, y'all. And I'm out.